Although it seems very cruel to expect an animal to hold it, where humans can just look for a toilet, it will help to the animal to introduce some sort of regimen. This will help to ease the burden to having a stressed out pet and owner. No more accidents. The following are some steps that can be taken to help train the animal to be house trained with fewer occurrences of accidents. Picking a particular spot where the owner wants the dog to eventually identify as the toilet area is something that should be done in a consistent manner. By observing when the dog is likely to need a toilet break and taking the animal immediately to the designated area until the deed is done will teach the animal the significance of the designated area. Also, lavishing praise when the deed is accomplished will further help to reinforce the idea behind taking the dog to the specified area. Take the time to understand the dog is also an important part of training the dog. Most dogs are not able to associate disapproval with the actual act of relieving themselves, as owners often don't catch them in the act. An owner's reprimand is usually only meted out upon discovery of the accident or mess. Therefore, the animal will eventually associate the disapproval to the mess and not the actual action of relieving itself. It is important for the owner to establish the disapproval at the time the deed is actually done rather than after, to ensure the animal understands the misdemeanor. Once this is established, both parties can work together to find a solution that would be as stress-free as possible. The owner should always remember not to put undue pressure on the animal, as it only has a limited capacity of understand things. Before deciding on what equipment to use to train the dog, the owner must first identify the purpose of the training and the end goal desired. There are a lot of issues that contribute to a training session, and having a clear goal in mind will help both the dog and the owner to work together to achieve the goal. What you will need. There is also the need to identify the type of training that will be required based on the goal set. If the training is only to create some boundaries for the dog, then the owner will be able to identify a less vigorous training style to use to achieve the objective, with the least amount of heartache on both sides. The equipment needed will also be very basic, such as a dog leash, a dog collar, and perhaps some tasty treats. However, if the training is going to be for more focused goals, such as to create a championship show dog or a seeing eye dog, then the equipment needed will be considerably different and definitely more custom made to these goals. The more complex the goal, the more focused the training equipment will be. These types of equipment will usually have to be sourced from specialty shops that are well equipped to provide a variety of specifically designed items for dog training. The local pet shops will usually not carry such custom-made equipment, thus there is a need to know what is needed before the actual sourcing process begins. The owner should also be well versed in how to use the equipment purchased and understand its relevant purposes. Failing to do this very important task will not help in the actual training exercise, as the dog will only end up being confused and frustrated when the commands given vary too much and the equipment used does not correspond with it. Research has proven, in many areas of a dog-responsive behavior, that rewarding the dog is far more productive than punishing it. This is very conclusive, and most dog owners now choose rewards over punishments based on the same evident results. Take a positive approach. A dog trained by using the punishment method will usually create an animal that is terrified of the owner or trainer. Dogs that respond fearfully also eventually become desensitized and in some cases choose to ignore the trainer or owner, simply due to the confusion the harness of the punishment causes. Dogs trained to comply simply based on fear of punishment are a pitiful sight to see and are very heartbreaking, especially for the more sensitive individual. This is bad for both the dog and the individual, who will only end up traumatized by the training sessions. Most dog owners will not be able to cope with such a sight, which may even cause the dog further confusion. In contrast, however, the positive approach of rewards within the training method is usually better received, with eventual desired results forthcoming. Pets usually respond well to rewards, as they will learn to associate certain behavioral patterns as pleasing to the owner and therefore correct and acceptable. Although most dogs respond well to rewards and work accordingly with the owner to achieve the desired results, these rewards must be timed correctly to ensure the dog understands the particular action required is tagged to the reward given. Therefore, the reward should be instantaneous to the desired action as soon as it is performed. Failing to reward immediately will not help the dog to associate a particular action with the reward, and this will only contribute to confusion.